try to explain and understand.
So many of them in our lives, so much.
So many of them in our lives, so much to try to explain and understand.
The clickbait explosion in Jesus Christ. The mystical mystery of the clickbait explosion in Jesus Christ. The mystical mystery of the clickbait explosion in Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Welcome to the Mystic Journey. I'm your host, Reverend Christian Jansen. And this show, this cosmic communication, is meant for those who are beyond the frontier, the strangers in a strange land. This is meant for those of us who have fallen out of the pack. For those of us who no longer seem to fit in where we used to fit in. And so we're searching. And we're on this mystic journey. And this is to let you know you're not alone. So I'm going to try to communicate something that's helpful, transformative, and definitely going to be honest. You know, a lot of this stuff that I communicate on a semi-weekly, mostly weekly, poly-weekly basis is stuff that I went through large in part on my own. I sought out authors and books and listened to podcasts and did a lot of different things. But for the most part, I didn't have me. I didn't have me, and I needed me. So I'd like to be me for you, because maybe it could be helpful. Topic today is just get on with it. Y'all already know, just get on with it. A lot of us know the pathway to transformation. A lot of us know what's required of us on a daily basis to continue on this mystic journey, to continue growing. We've been taught, we've been told, we've been showed. But for some reason, we don't just get on with it. We got to gather again. We got to listen a little more. If only I had a little more information. Maybe then it'd be easier. Maybe then I could get it. And then I'd be on the journey. And, you know, that ain't how it goes. That's not how it happens. You can't think your way into right living. You got to live your way into right thinking. You got to live your way into right thinking. That's why I love the 12-step fellowship and program, because it's a program of action. What you do it. So why can't we just get on with it? What's stopping us from just getting on with it? And, you know, spoiler, it's attachment. You know, no big reveal there. It's attachment. But what are we attached to? We're attached to ideals. We're attached to ideals and principles. That could be theology. That could be societal constructs. That could be moral systems. It could be family systems. It could be faith systems or cultural systems. But we also get attached to the ideal of self. The projection, you know, and we work so hard on creating this projection that we're going to project out to the world. And we go through the whole thing, the visual effects and the lighting and the sound and the, and the camera angles. And we're like, okay, this who I am. Okay, cool, got it. All right, good. Now let's project that out. And we over here just running that projector, this old school projector, just running it. Meanwhile, the real me, the real you, is like lost in the shuffle. Yeah, I say that to a friend of mine sometimes on the phone when he calls me and he's in a state of crisis. It's more like an existential crisis than an actual crisis. And, I'm like, you just gotta, you're not paying attention to the you, that's you, He's always like, what that mean? Game is to be showed, not told, I guess. But we have this projection and this idea. You understand what I'm saying, right? You show up at the workplace and, you have a certain persona that maybe personality traits that you're going to magnify and show more than you would if you were at the house with the family, right? This is why for a lot of us, our loved ones seem to get the rawest of us, right? Because our guards down. We're not running that projector trying to be somebody. We are who we are, and so they get to experience that for better or worse. And we become attached to that projection. And maybe in your faith community, or your recovery community, you're an answer man, or you're the, you feel this role, right? You heard about this, like in family systems, right? Someone plays the joker, right? Someone plays the parent, And so we get attached to that role. We get attached to that persona that we're projecting to the people. And so that's why we can't get on with it. Because there's a part of us that knows that to just get on with it, to just implement the practices, to just go do the things that we know we need to do to continue to grow spiritually, to just get on with it means we're going to have to let go of that projection. Who wants to do that? Who wants to let everybody know how fabulous and wonderful they really are? Like we're always so scared of people. If you knew me, the real me, then you wouldn't love me. But what if we do? What if we did? What if we're all over here waiting for you to put the fucking projector down? What if we're all sitting around going, just give up, just surrender, just let go. We love you. You. The you that's you inside of you. Just a dude disguised as another dude. What if we just actually loved you? And what if there was really nothing to be scared about? But that's one of the reasons why we don't get on with it, because we're attached to this projection. We don't want to let that go. Another thing is we're attached to the ideal of a bigger system, right? Whether it's a family system or a societal system, a faith system, whatever. We're attached to that system, and it served us so well over the years. That's one of the reasons why I try not to make theological arguments, is because I find that whenever I'm trying to do that, what ends up happening is the other person just digs their heel deeper into where they're at. And if you ain't ready to go on the journey, I ain't got time to argue with you. So you ready? Let's go. Just get on with it already. So this for those that got the ears to hear. That's my guru, Yeshua Nazareth, said that. Those who have ears, may they hear. Because he knows not everyone's going to get it. Not everyone understood. Matter of fact, the people that understood were the least religious of the people around him. And the more religious the person, the less they really understood what he was doing. So why would our lives be any different. We're also attached to things, you know, like inanimate objects, like phones and cameras, things, cars, homes, clothes. We're attached to these things. There was a significant change in me, and when I noticed this change was because, I like cars, I like vehicles. I think they're cool. I like the way they look. I love the design and how some are so beastly and some are so small. And some, I just like the way the whole process and how these people just create this stuff, right? You don't even see your car when you're in your car, so you don't know how cool your car is or not. It's just. But there was a point when I used to look at other people's vehicles, and I would think, man, I really want that car. I really want that lifted Tundra or that lifted Tacoma, or that lifted 250. And then there was a point when my mindset just kind of shifted, and I saw, and instead of having that feeling inside of me that was like, I want that, coveting, I was like, dang, dude, that's probably like a $500-$600 car payment a month. Plus you gotta have that full insurance on that, plus you gotta come in with that down payment. Plus, you're gonna be paying interest, so you're paying more than the car's actually worth. And then I'm like, that's not a luxury. That's a burden. And I started seeing things as a burden. I tell people a lot, once you become, we do all these things to become a thing. And then once we become a thing, we have to do all the things that things do to stay being a thing. You know what I mean? Like, we do all this stuff to get somewhere, to be something, and we get these things because we think these things make us somebody, and then instead of these things actually doing what we thought they would do, we end up being slaves to them. That's a devious deception. It's a devious deception. We are fooled by our own hubris, by our own desires. And things could, I think could be a lot of things. It could be, degrees and certifications. I went through a process with that myself. Where I was like, okay, if I only get this ordination, then, I get this Enneagram certification, then I get this coaching certification, then. Well, guess what? Now I'm then. What I'm really looking for is permission. So my attachment to things, your attachment to things, stops you from just getting on with it. For those of us who meditate, when you're in that state and you become separate from those attachments and you're boogie boarding on the cosmic wave of Christ, when you're in that state, things don't matter much, do they? How about this? How about you're on your deathbed? Or how about you got a big health scare? You think time might be up soon. What runs through your head and heart? The things? Nah. And so we're attached to things, and that's why we don't just get on with it. And once we start getting on with it, we find ourselves less in love with these things. And I guess there's probably some sort of ideal or identity that's built into it, so it makes it double hard. It's a double scoop. We're attached to prestige. You know, if you want a spiritual life, live a simple life. You want a spiritual life, ruthlessly eliminate hurry from your life. But all the people with the prestige, all the people we look up to, they movers and shakers. They doers. They getting it done. They big money spending cheese. And so naturally we're going to be attracted to that. We want that prestige. Look, I want to be seen as somebody who has got something to offer. You know, part of that's why I went through the process of getting these certifications and stuff, because I wanted to be more helpful. And if I could learn some more frameworks, and maybe that would help me to be more helpful, you know? And so, you know, none of these things are bad in and of themselves, you know? The projection, you can't rid yourself completely of that projection. You know, you know, it's not logical to live without anything unless you want to, you know, live in a van down by the river, but then you still got the van. So, you know, that ain't gonna work. So these attachments inherently aren't, it's not the thing that we're attached to that's the problem. It's the attachment that's the problem. Right? And can we have things? Can we have prestige? Can we have a place in society or in larger group dynamics without being attached to them? I believe we can. I believe you can. If you just get on with it. Just get on with it. Yeshua of Nazareth says, do not store up treasures here on earth. I'm going to pull that up because I want to quote that. Do not store. So I don't know. You know, I know the verses, but I don't know the numbers, right? The address. Matthew 6:19. All right. Matthew 6:19. Do not store up yourself treasures on earth where moths and vermin destroy, where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourself treasures in heaven where moths and vermin do not destroy, where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So just get on with it already. Stop storing your treasures here. Oh, easier said than done. Not really. It's not easier said than done. You just do it. But we want to do it perfectly. And we want results like right away. And that's the and we're attached to these things. There really ain't nothing to it but to do it. You know, there's a concept in Christianity about this kind of stewardship concept, which is to say that, you know, God ain't got no grandchildren. You feel me? So God ain't got no grandchildren. So my children ain't his grandchildren. My children is God's children. And I'm God's children too. And so we're just brothers and sisters. I'm just a steward. I'm just playing a role in their life right now. You know, the things that I do have, the equipment that is making this cosmic communication possible, it ain't mine. You know, shoot, legally it ain't mine. It's in the ministry. So, you know. But it's just mine to take care of. It's mine to steward. You know, and if I'm storing these treasures up here on earth, then what's going to happen? You ever see an old building, like an old house, an old building that has not been lived in or kept up with for a long, long time, talking years on years? And what happens, right? what happens? The earth starts to reclaim it. The grass and the trees and the weeds and all these things start to grow around it, through it, and they almost begin to reclaim it. Because the earth's going to do what it's going to do, and that's what's going to happen with every thing we have. That's what's going to happen with this body. It's going to go back to the dirt. It's going back. So we're so attached to it. We're so attached to it. We don't even think of things on those terms. You know, we don't think of finite self. Hubris. There's also another concept in Christianity, and this comes from the Apostle Paul, who writes in one of his letters to one of his churches, and it's that you're bought and sold with a price, just slave to righteousness. He's using this language because it's really communicating something that would have been made a lot of sense for them culturally at that time, right? That, you know, this is why we call the Lord, because he's the Lord. He's the boss, you know? So we just, you know, it's just like the parable of those guys that go to work in the field, right? Jesus tells this parable, and these one man shows up early, he gets a wage, right? And another person comes at noon, he gets a wage. And then some other people come like at 4 o'clock, they get a wage, but they all get the same wage. And when the one who came in the morning is complaining, like, why are you giving these dudes who've been working 2 hours, why are you giving them the same amount? And the master's like, you're out of my pocket. This is my money. I can give it how I want to give it. So we just laborers in the field. And I don't mean that just for Christians. I mean that as humans, we're just laborers in the field. We're just existing, trying to make this thing better for everybody. Some of us are not. Some of us could give a crap. Why so worried? Why so worried about these attachments? This is the other thing about these attachments that create worry. We're worried about it. I'm worried about my projection. Is you gonna like the projection? You know? Worried about it. Are we gonna, because Lord forbid someone had got something negative to say about me, right? Lord forbid, because I can't deal with that or rejection, because I'm so attached to that projection. Hey, so that's why we're so worried. Like, there's another scripture right here: praise Him in all things. All things work for the good of those in Christ Jesus, who live and walk according to His Spirit. Why so worried? Just get on with it. Just get on with the practice. Just go to the meetings. Just read the literature. Just do your writing. Do your step work. Just, do the prayers. Do the meditation. Take the time for yourself. Take a walk. Look at nature. Just get on with it already. What you waiting for? I wrote here, so I wrote the outline after meditation, so it's a little weird, and it says, you aren't even anyway, just be. You aren't even anyway. Just be. I think on some level I know that to be true, but on another level I'm kind of like, I don't know that I know that, you know? Try to tell the rabbit in the wolf's mouth, you ain't even real. Don't worry about it. It's all a projection. The rabbit just... So some of us, man, we in deep emotional, mental, physical pain. Tell me this ain't real. Tell me I ain't even real. So that's why I don't try to speak on that, because it just doesn't feel 100% true to me. Another reason why it doesn't feel 100% true is because of Yeshua of Nazareth, of Jesus the Christ. Because if it is what it is, then God saw fit to make his dwelling among us, to become in flesh and blood. To me, that tells me that the flesh and blood matters, that this earth suit matters. So, I wrote it down, but I don't believe it enough to really say it. On some level, I do. Because I do feel like there's something that's connecting us beyond the bag of chemicals that we are, like my brother Dan would say. So, how to just be. Okay, here we go. You want to know how? Here we go. Step 1, stop. Stop. Okay, you can't stop. How about this? Slow down. Now that maybe might be manageable. Slow down. Take a little time. Take some time when you wake up in the morning and you make that first pot of coffee. Take some time. Slow down. Just be here now and make the coffee. Just a simple task like that is quite hard, because my mind, our minds feel confident enough to say our brains is doing its thing. It's going and thinking, and we're thinking about the day, what we're going to wear. But to slow down and do the thing that we're actually doing. Right now, as I'm recording this, my text messages show up on the screen. And so I'm like seeing the messages, and it's like my kids and my wife messaging each other. And I'm trying to just do this thing. So, c'est la vie. So if you can't stop, then just slow down. All right? What else? Slow down. Let's say you drive into work. Literally, slow down. Go to speed limit. Don't hit that fast lane. Don't turn on the radio. Don't turn on the podcast. If you're listening to this right now and you're driving, turn it off. Slow down. Go to speed limit. Slow down. Just get on with it. Getting on with it. You want to know how to do that? Here's one. Slow down. Oh, well, I can't slow down. I just get up so late. Okay, fine. How about shut up? Oh, you can't shut up? Well, then speak less. How about that? As I'm speaking for 28 minutes straight. That's why I don't record these. I'll record these when it's right. When it's in my spirit, I'll record this. If it's not in the spirit, I'm not doing it. I don't want to do it if it ain't in the spirit. If it's not the Lord, I don't want to do it. So I do spend a lot of time alone and in silence. We're really taught to, in recovery specifically, we're taught in early recovery to just get it out of our head. Don't sit with it. And I can 100% agree. If you're early in recovery, talk to somebody. Find 3. I tell people I work with, I tell them find 3 other addicts and call them every day. You know what? That's the one thing. Nobody wants to do that. I don't understand that. Just make the calls and talk. Early on, you should be doing that. Yes. If you're in recovery. And for some of us, though, that sometimes that can backfire because we're talking about the issue so much. We're not experiencing the issue. right? We have a feeling of discontentment, and rather than using the available power of God within us to reconcile and make peace with it, or to go through the discomfort to come out on the other side, we immediately make the call to not feel the way we're feeling. And so that's where that can go. So if you're ready to just get on with it, just shut up. If you can't shut up, speak less. That's why meditation's so helpful, so good. And it took me years to submit to it and surrender to it. When I first started meditating, I would get anxiety so bad that I would physically feel my body vibrating. My mind was going and my body was vibrating and I couldn't. I've had things where I'll just put music on really freaking loud and sit and meditate. Give my brain something to do. Mantras are good. And I fought it for a long time, the meditation. Always making a petition, always praying with a petition, but never just listening. And then I heard this, just get on with it. So I started doing it 1 minute at a time, 2 minutes, okay, cool, 3 minutes, all right. Guided meditation, I mean. There's a good app called Plum Village by Thich Nhat Hanh. They have a bunch of really good meditations in there. Walking meditation, eating meditation. And it took me a while to get to where I really enjoy that void I enter into when I meditate. It's so welcoming. And I can't stay there. Well, that's not true, but I can't stay sitting with my eyes closed. I can stay in that state. That is possible. But inevitably, as my eyes open, so I did this thing. I went to an addictionologist, and they did these brain scans, and fascinating stuff. And so she shows my brain activity when my eyes are open, and she shows my brain activity when my eyes are closed. And there's different brain waves, and theta and beta, and Darth Vader, and in the theater. Anyway, so she said, Christian, when you gotta make a decision, close your eyes. Because she could see my brain activity when my eyes were closed slow down. There was this red spikes that popped up when my eyes were open. So she said, close your eyes when you need to make a decision, because your brain literally calms down when you close your eyes. And that would make sense. I'm a visual, creative person. I love the aesthetics. I love colors and things, and looking at it and seeing it, and So closing my eyes helps. Just get on with it. And so I started just getting on with it. There were things that I did that I didn't stay on with. I stopped because it just, and sometimes I get on with different things. I start, sometimes it's drawing and painting with music on as a practice, as a spiritual practice to center me. Sometimes it's sitting in meditation. Sometimes it's taking a walk, looking at the nature. So it don't gotta be one thing, and it don't gotta be the same thing every day. Although there's value in creating a habit and a ritual that's happening every day. But look, if you're just getting on with it, just get on with it. That's what I'm saying. If you're just getting on with it, just get on with it. Don't judge it, just do it. Man, I'm telling you, everything you need is within you already. Everything you need to be at peace internally is there. You just gotta slow down, shut up, and get there. Just get on with it, my friends. So that's what I got. And thank you so much for listening, and I do hope that it's helpful. And if you would like, if I could be further helpful, hit me up. You can, any of the social medias, just direct message, christianjansen.com. And, however I can help to continue that process. Just get on with it. If getting on with it means asking for some help, then just ask for some help. Just get on with it. If you've listened to this point, what you're looking for is you're looking for something to release you to start getting on with it. And I can't do that for you. You can do that for you. So just get on with it. Peace and blessings. May the risen Christ go before you, behind you, beside you, below you, and above you, and within you, as you travel on this mystic journey.